So in this video, I'm going to be talking about, well, you know what? I honestly don't know what the fuck I'm going to be talking about. Long time ago, I was a security guard for this joint in Seattle. I live outside Seattle, and I was a security guard for this joint in Seattle. And I was doing my rounds, and they're paying me shit. And I found this door open down in the basement. Now the thing about down in the basement, down in the garage, is there's no cell service down there, right? So for fucking what they were paying me, I was at top speed. I was like, I'm not going in there, whatever. I'm just gonna stay out of it. You guys can fire me if you don't like it, right? And so I called the cops. And I was like, look, can you just do a security check with me down there, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. It took them 4 fucking hours to show up. 4 hours. I called them at the beginning of my shift, and they didn't get there until until I was probably 2/3 done with the shift, right? So yeah, I'm sure you guys who watch my channel are aware of the whole defund the police bullshit, and I want to show you this thing here. This is a documentary called Seattle Is Dying. It's an hour long. If you got the time, watch it. It's a good little thing. So there's this guy right here, right? I just want to show you something.
Team. Travis, put the bike down, Travis!
This is body cam footage of an incident on First and Pike a little more than a year ago.
Travis! What's up? Travis? What's up? Hey, come on, Travis. Travis! Hey, you Travis, put the bike down!
It started with property destruction and escalated into assaulting police officers.
Double cup. A
bunch of cops were deployed.
Stand up so we can get out of here.
Berge spit on them.
Don't spit.
Fought them.
Hey, no biting! Don't bite yourself either.
Stand up, Travis. We're going to the gurney. Here's the gurney.
It lasted hours.
Forward.
Well, I'm actually not even high right now.
Travis is outrageously unapologetic about his...
Okay, so what's the point that I'm making here? This dude, like, watch the thing, right? Watch the body cam video, right? This lasted at least an hour. I mean, look at the sky, like, look at the sky. This guy's freaking out, and then by the end of it, it's pretty bright out, right? You know, it's definitely past sunrise. So what's the point that I'm trying to make? They deployed what 10 cops for this guy, and he spat and he screamed and he spit, and it took what 10 guys to wrestle him out of his trash can, right? And so you have I can't help but call this mollycoddling, right? And I can't help but wonder if when this guy was gonna try to assault officers, right? If they just would have shot him, right, back in the day, back in the 60s or the 50s or whatever, or if they didn't shoot him, they were just gonna beat the fuck out of this guy. Now in this day and age, right, you know, that's no longer acceptable. That's no longer acceptable to you know, beat the fuck out of this guy and right, because I get the feeling that in the 1960s 2 cops would have showed up, they would have dragged this motherfucker out of the trash can by his hair, beat him to an inch of his life, and thrown him in the back of the car, right? And it would have taken them 15 minutes. But now you have 10 cops here for at least an hour, right? The audio thing says it lasted hours, and more than likely I believe it. And so, you know, you have defund the police. You have a police force that is for all intents and purposes mollycoddling people, right? And you have cops backing up, right? This cop is backing up right? To this guy who has, a bicycle, right? He's gonna what's he gonna do? Throw the bicycle at him? And it's just, I don't know, man. I'm struggling to try and articulate my thoughts with this, I guess, but we end up in a situation where there are less cops, there are less police, and because it's harder to train, and the equipment alone that police officers are carrying around, the body armor and the so on and so forth, right? It's absurd, right? It's just the body cam, the radio, the body armor, the gun, right? Someone told me that it's somewhere to the tune of like $3,000 just for the equipment of one police officer, right? Back in the day, it was one uniform, and a leather belt and a 6-shooter, right? It was less than $500. Now, I don't know. I'm trying to articulate my thoughts, and I'm having a hard time with it, because at the same time, in the sense where what I'm talking about with my previous video, why did the Americans lose in Afghanistan? Well, I also kind of see this like, why is Seattle police? Why are police officers basically in essence losing to crime? Right? We're having less cops, more centralized cops. Every police officer is wearing more and more expensive gear. There are less police, right? And now we're saying defund the police. And now we have cops dealing with situations for hours that could have previously been resolved in 15 minutes, right? So you have anytime that there's violence involved, you have these cops who stand around for who knows how long. You see what I mean? We have less police resources, and we're not letting police resources resolve situations quickly and effectively. And then, of course, the worst part of all of this is this jerk off who assaulted police officers, right? This guy, he's back on the street. Who knows if the prosecutor even decided to prosecute? And so imagine if you're a police officer, it's like, why even bother arresting this guy, going through the trouble of arresting this guy, if the prosecutor isn't going to prosecute? Right? If he's not going to end up in jail, if he's not going to be held accountable for his actions. See what I mean? Anyway. So, it's not just that I see the United States has lost in the war of Afghanistan. We have a very serious problem with our police force as well. So, I don't know. I'm trying to articulate a feeling I have, and I have a very hard time articulating it. So